Podcast back for another episode. Thanks for being here. We're talking about John McAfee once again. His wife came out and put a huge 2-paragraph statement out over the state of affairs of what's going on with her right now. So we will dive into that. Plus, President Trump has filed a lawsuit against Facebook, Twitter, and Google. He is suing them. We have all the details, plus his announcement, plus who some of his supporters think is going to be his next VP. That is a fun little clip we got coming up for you. Haiti's president was assassinated, and the Clinton Foundation found its way into this little story. So details on that coming up, of course.
No, that's conspiracy theory.
There is another development on the January 6th riots. We have this interesting little tidbit to share with you, which just broke. And Spotify employees seem to have still some issues with their number one employee, Joe Rogan. So we'll go over that and a bunch more. Frankie C is here with us. How you doing, my man?
Hanging in there.
This McAfee story continues to develop. Every time there's something new and newsworthy, we're going to be talking about it. And today, Janice McAfee, John's wife, dropped this 2-paragraph gargantuan statement on Twitter, just kind of rolling through her thoughts on what's going on. I did find one thing interesting in this, and actually quite sad. So let's just hop into her statement. She says here, Frankie C, and I quote, "I've been trying to find the words to adequately express my thoughts. I am still in shock and disbelief, really. John should have never spent a day in prison, let alone nearly 9 months. I spoke with him twice the morning of the 23rd, and in our last conversation, we spoke about the court's decision to extradite him to the U.S. This decision did not come as a surprise to John, myself, or his lawyers. We were prepared for the Spanish courts to grant the request for the extradition. We had a plan of action in place to begin the appeal process, and we discussed plans for the next stages of his legal fight." I'm going to stop right there because we've been talking the last couple of days about some things. His daughter and his granddaughter released that statement. Remember, we were talking about that. Didn't really seem like they were shocked. They said he led a troubled life.
Which you can't deny. Troubled, could mean the battles he's fought on the outside with, being on the run for a while.
Yeah.
That could mean that.
And then we talked about the fact that there was this other report that said that there was he attempted to do this once before back in February.
Right.
So this feel in the news, at least in the last couple of days, was that it wasn't a surprise. So I think that's where her reaction is coming from, of like, hang on. I can see the narrative starting to change from, he didn't do this to maybe he did do it. So let me come out here and address this. So basically she's laying out here that they were preparing for this big, long fight. The extradition, let's pick it up. The extradition would have happened immediately. It would have taken, would not have happened immediately. It would have taken many months at least. Besides that, John had already won a victory before the hearing in that 7 of the 10 charges in the case were dropped in the days leading up to his hearing. John was a fighter, and he had so much more fight left in him. He told me to be strong and not to worry. We would continue to fight all the necessary appeals. His last words to me were, "I love you. I will call you in the evening," but sadly that call never happened. Now, this was the thing that really struck me, Frank, here. Her next line here. The story of John's quote-unquote suicide, she put that in quotes, was already prepared and presented to the public before I or his attorneys were even notified of his death. Words cannot describe how enraged I am at the fact that I had to hear the news of his death via DM on Twitter. And now it's being conveniently reported that there was a suicide note found in his pocket, something that was not mentioned when I collected John's belongings from the prison, and another piece of information the media somehow got a hold of before myself and John's attorneys.
That's weird.
This is very, very strange, because whenever somebody passes, their attorneys, their family, next of kin, all that stuff are always notified first. Always. Like the last thing that you want to have happen is what happened in this situation with somebody seeing it on the news. In fact,
Yeah.
when a story goes to the news, let's say somebody's hit by a car or,
Yeah.
whatever,
Can't release the names.
they never release the names, even if they're talking about it. Exactly. You nailed it. They
Because you
never
got to make
release
sure
the names.
everybody knows first before they hear it on the news or on TV.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Now, maybe there was a miscommunication. Someone leaked it. Someone found out and leaked it before anybody was told.
Right. Could be possible. You're right.
I mean, why would they make this? Anybody who, if this was an inside job or whatever the case, why would they make it as complicated? I just feel like if that was part of the cover-up, then why would they make it so ridiculous and complicated? I just make it straightforward and not so many twists and turns.
I don't know, but I mean, it definitely, like when you're in prison, they definitely have your lawyer's phone number.
Sure.
And they definitely have, your significant other's phone number.
Yep.
That should have been a fairly early call in the process.
Yeah.
So that's a little strange. And again, like, if this was just her, I could see going, oh, well, maybe she missed the call out of range. But you have two numbers.
I mean, we know that's the rule here, but this took place overseas. Maybe the law is different.
Perhaps,
I don't know.
Perhaps the law is different. Now, and this is the other interesting thing. She says that she went and collected John's belongings.
Right.
And didn't find this quote-unquote note.
Well, I feel like there's got to be some kind of evidence that you can't have, till they wrap everything up. No? I mean, is that, like, you're not going to get that as part of, like, if there's an ongoing investigation or something? Maybe not. Did they get the things that he had with him or the things that were submitted when he was incarcerated? Because, you'll get the things that the jail holds when you're incarcerated, like your wallet and all this stuff that you don't take to the jail cell.
Good question. Yeah, good question. I don't know, because she says I went to go collect John's belongings.
Right. I mean,
so
I don't know if you get the things that are with him in the jail cell or the belongings referring to the things that he was arrested with.
Or you're saying if it was, maybe she got the books or,
because when you're arrested, they collect everything from you. Right. You have your phone, your this, your that.
Right, but I'm
watch.
saying that maybe they were releasing like his comb or his personal effects in the thing if they weren't a part of this investigation.
Right. If there is is there an investigation? Are they?
But yes, there is. But it also feels like you kind of should share that information with his wife.
Oh yeah, this is everything we've got.
Yeah.
You can't have it yet, but we have it. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Here's the note.
Or here's a copy of it, or whatever.
This kind of feels like that scene in Analyze This when they throw the guy out the window and they're like, and he ruins the Billy Crystal's wedding. And he
is there a note?
I think the guy left a note.
Yeah. There will be.
And Jelly's like, oh, yeah. And he's reaching for a pen.
Classic. Jelly, he was funny.
Oh, my God, the best. So anyway, she goes on to say some other things, but she does mention the investigation into John's death is still ongoing, and I will share what information I can when I can. Until then, I do not accept the quote-unquote suicide story that has been spread by the malignant cancer that is the mainstream media. They and their unnamed sources are not to be trusted.
What does the media have to do? See, I understand her grief. I'm not attacking her in any way, but this is just the media reporting what they were told by the prison, no?
Right. Yeah, and you're right about that. I mean, I understand, even for the people that do not trust the mainstream media, and that's fine with me if that's how you feel about it. But in this particular case, you have a shit ton of outlets that are just reporting on what they're being told by sources in the prison. If anybody is lying, it would be the prison. You could be mad at them. The
mainstream media just gets they're not. It's not like they were in charge of the kid. They're just reporting what they know.
Correct. And this is not a defense of the mainstream media, because Lord knows there's plenty to pick on there, and they haven't been holding up their own. But this idea that every single outlet is working together in conjunction with each other to cover something up is really not possible.
Far-fetched.
It's far-fetched, and especially not in this particular case. Like, there's not really a reason.
And I get her grief and her anger and her frustration, and I would never assume to, if she's angry, she's lashing out. I get it. And hey, at this point, let her blame whoever she wants. Doesn't,
Yeah.
She has every right.
But I feel like I'm a broken record a little bit, because I say this every time. Every outlet wants to be the outlet with the story. So if there's a story to be told, if there's a government, whatever, this or that, whatever it is, like, nope, you're not going to be able to suppress that story. You're just not.
Yeah, I mean, someone will find it, and this is what's being reported, because that was suicide was the name. It was what's being ruled.
Not to take anything away from John McAfee, because he was an important person, but I don't think he was important enough, again, to have 4,000 outlets band together against him. I don't think that is the case. Again, if he had any information that he was willing to share with the outlets, they would immediately take his call. You know what I'm saying? They would immediately take that information and run with it, as they have in the past. So
I think so.
This
is definitely these two paragraphs. She's not accepting, and I don't blame her. You don't want to believe that this is something that a loved one would do, and I don't blame her for fighting as much as she is.
Yeah.
Keep fighting. I mean, until the truth comes out. If this isn't the truth.
Yeah. So again, we'll follow it. I mean, obviously, and here's the thing too, like, just in his nature and the way she is, I don't think that they're going to keep a lid on anything. So if they find out any information, I feel like it'll definitely be coming to us. We'll be able to have it, because I don't think that they would hide any bit of that information. So
no,
that's good. Other huge story today, Frankie C, and that is that Donald Trump is suing basically all of social media. Can we make that the headline?
Does this guy just, it's every this guy just forward his mail to court. The guy just lives on trial, with court lawsuit after lawsuit against him it's just nonstop. Can you take a weekend?
Lawyers must love him. I mean, he keeps the lawyers employed. Let's play you the clip here. This is
I'm suing everybody. You can't block me from anything.
This is Donald Trump making the announcement earlier today.
I just want to say that I stand before you this morning to announce a very important and very beautiful, I think, development for our freedom and our freedom of speech. And that goes to all Americans. Today, in conjunction with the America First Policy Institute, I'm filing as the lead class representative a major class action lawsuit against the big tech giants, including Facebook, Google, and Twitter, as well as their CEOs, Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, and Jack Dorsey. Three real nice guys.
Such an ass.
That was the best. Sundar Pichai.
I mean, maybe, go over the names before you step in front of a microphone.
He has turned into his Alec Baldwin impression. We've said this before. Obama was the same thing with, who's the guy from Peele? Keegan and Peele?
Yeah.
What was their thing? He did this.
He did the anger. Didn't he do like the anger thing?
Yeah, there was the anger guy in the background, but his Obama was so good.
Oh yeah, Jordan Peele did that.
Was it Jordan Peele? Yeah, that's right, because he was the one who did the movies. Yeah. Jordan Peele. Oh my God, I feel like, and the same thing going back to Bush with Will Ferrell. I feel like all these guys wind up falling into their own impressions.
They're just parodies of themselves.
I gotta hear that again. I'm sorry, that was the best.
Jordan Peele. It's like
Policy Institute, I'm filing as the lead class representative a major class action lawsuit against the big tech giants, including Facebook, Google, and Twitter, as well as their CEOs, Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, and Jack Dorsey. 3 real nice guys.
Sundar Pichai. He also said at the end there, 3 nice guys.
Yeah, but I'm suing them. What did Google do?
It's a beautiful lawsuit. People telling me.
It's the best lawsuit I've ever seen. I have the best lawsuits.
Out of all my
It's a
lawsuits,
lawsuit, you idiot. It's not
this is the most beautiful.
It's not a painting. You moron. Sorry, but
ask anybody, including Sundar Pichai.
Pichai.
It is a great lawsuit.
Can we make a T-shirt like some Pichai? Like I don't know how we would write it out, but that's just that.
We should do that.
Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai.
Do you know we added, while we're on the topic, we added a new shirt to the mix. We're so far behind on shirts that we have needed to add to the store.
That's true.
But inspired by the last episode, we just added a new J-Sabs inspired t-shirt. Here, let me bring it up for everybody who's watching. There it is. Long pumps only. That's the new J-Sabs inspired t-shirt. Up at shopanthononair.com right now. Support the pod.
Goes very well with the That's What She Said shirt.
Yeah. I don't know why this thing is popping up. I got to get rid of that. I don't like that idea.
Exit out. There it is.
Yeah, there you go. Long pumps only. And on the back, we got the logo, of course, which is nice. This is the women's comfort tee right there.
Two-sided. Nice.
Yeah, there you go. That's for
all those sizes for everyone.
That's for the ladies out there.
Wonderful thing.
Yes. Again, inspired by J-Sabs. Is she talking about caramel pumps in her coffee or something else? We just don't know.
Does it also come for in a guy's t-shirt?
It does. Yes.
Very nice.
I think there's like sweatshirts and there's a regular comfort tee for the dudes.
Beautiful.
And there's some tanks and stuff. The whole collection is up there.
Perfect to wear at that family barbecue.
Yeah, there you go. You want to be explaining to people why your shirt says long pumps only. It's a conversation starter.
And that's what we're here for, conversation.
It's a real conversation starter. Short
pump crap. Long pumps only, baby.
So Trump, he announced the thing today. Shortly after the news conference wrapped, Trump's political entities started sending out fundraising messaging that touted the lawsuits in their appeals for money. Twitter, Trump's preferred social media outlet throughout his one term in office, permanently banned him on the heels of the January 6th invasion by the Capitol mob. The other Facebook and Instagram, actually, it's just Facebook because Instagram is under Facebook. Yep. They said that he can come back in, what was it, 2 years, I think they said it was?
I think so, 2024, I think he comes back. But why is he suing Google?
Okay, so here's the thing with Google, and a lot of people don't know this.
Sanjay, what was it?
Sanjay Pichai.
Pichai.
By the way, that's spelled P-I-C-H-A-I.
P-I-C-H-A-I.
I don't know if it's Pichai.
Pichai? I'm not sure.
Hey, Coffee. What are you going to do?
Right?
Do you know there's a coffee company called Kofifi that actually reached out to us?
As in Kofefi, the whole...
Yeah, I swear to God, there is a coffee company named Kofefi, and they reached out to us. I want to say it was like a generic-y kind of like a advertised email, like, hey, we're interested in, because we get a ton of this shit now, of like spammy, like, whatever's. Because it must be on some list that when you get to a certain point in popularity, subscribers, followers, whatever, you start to get, because I got like 7 of them, but one of them was from Coffee. I swear to God.
Who knew that was a thing?
I didn't know. It was.
Where are they? What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Probably online.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll be calling Kofifi people. We'll be calling you back. We'll definitely try your coffee if it's good.
Great.
I'm looking for like a good coffee.
I hear Dunks is pretty good.
Yeah. I have them today.
I'm
They're
a fan.
okay. They're good. I like them. They're good. But I want like a good. When you get that good cup of coffee, you're in like
no.
Shit,
I never had a cup of coffee where I'm like, oh man, this is terrific.
Oh, I've
unless
had
it's
several.
like, unless it's like, you know, frappuccino and it's got all this crazy crap in it. But coffee and milk or whatever, you know, it's like it's coffee. It tastes like coffee.
Anyway, as I was saying with Google, so here's what people don't know about Google. Google is entirely customizable to you. When you go on websites, Google, Facebook,
they
all
track you and they
track everything.
Custom,
right?
Yeah, all right.
So when you and by the way, some of this is good tracking. So in other words, when you Google pizza, you're not getting a pizza place in San Diego. You're getting the pizza places where you are. Right. So some of it is quite useful and actually warranted. Some of the not so useful things is we don't really know because Google has this ability to track you and show you results that you're more likely to click on. Like even if you're like, I need a good vacuum cleaner, you know, they're going to just show you ads and organic search results that you're more likely to click on. But this ability also comes with the speculation that they can hide certain articles and information
that you don't want to see.
That you don't want to see. And we saw this, at least on the social media side, when the Hunter Biden stuff started coming out on social media. And this was confirmed. This is a real story. This actually happened. The Hunter Biden laptop stuff started coming out on social media. And you had Facebook and Twitter come out, and they were killing the organic reach of these stories. And their defense was that they were not able to verify this information, and they have this mechanism in place to kill false information from spreading too quickly. Now they came out and subsequently were able to verify the stories, and so then they let the reins off. But Google again has the same exact thing where if you're putting out false information or, you know, whatever it is,
sounds good.
Yes, but it depends on if, like, that's the thing in this particular case.
Until the news is verified, that why would they spread it?
Because it's a chicken and the egg thing, you know.
Verify it first, and then.
Understandable, but sometimes you need that social media organic push to get something to the point of verification. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, no, because what is my clicking on it going to do? To verify the story.
But that's how news is put out now. What are you going to do? Wait till 5 o'clock the next morning to pick up the paper? No, you go to.
Yeah, but it's not put in the paper until it's verified.
Right, I understand, but that's not how social media works.
Well, that's what they're trying to make it, you know, a little more honest. I think that's okay. I mean, I feel like until a story is checked and rechecked or whatever.
Well, its intentions are okay. Intentions are okay. The issue becomes who's making that decision and what is their.
Yeah, it's always made by people, especially even with newspapers. It's the editor or whoever.
Right, but let's say, here's the thing. Now, here's the problem. You're putting what Americans are hearing or reading in the hands of a very small few people. Of
course.
Who, and this is a conservative critique, they're all living in strongly Democratic areas. They're most likely Democrats. It's not fair.
That doesn't mean anything. There's newspapers everywhere. There's social.
No, there is, but Facebook and Twitter, they're all located in San Francisco. San Francisco is a notoriously liberal-leaning city, so obviously there's conservatives there too. There's conservatives that work at these companies, but their fear is that this is why the left gets a pass on a lot of things, is because those are the people in those
there's bias.
spots.
As the security guard is biased.
Right. Now,
I get it.
When here's my thing with this. When you're on a live stream, okay, if you're watching something on Twitter or Periscope was famous for this, and something comes up that's questionable, you may have seen this. You'll get a little thing on the bottom of your screen, and you'll be like, Frankie C. said this. Is this an abuse of our terms of service or whatever they'll say, you know, because if it's like, I'm going to kill you or I'm going to blah, 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 then you can report it. You can say, looks good, report it, or I don't know.
Well, that's with everything. There's always a report button somewhere.
Right. But what I'm saying when I bring this up is what's great about that sort of thing, where these outlets can't monitor what is being talked about because it's happening live, you leave it up to the audience, the crowd, and that will determine what it is. Why aren't they doing the same thing, in this particular case? Take the onus off of your own company and put it out to several, I'm not saying everybody, but you put it out to several trusted people of all walks of life across all your demographics, male, female, young, old, whatever, nationality, religion, blah, 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 and let them sort of make those early determinations before it gets to something that's elevated, a little bit higher up.
That's why we are so behind with our laws on social media and everything. There's got to be laws. There's laws with newspaper, radio, and television. There's got to be laws with the internet. And the biggest thing right now is the internet, far beyond anything, TV or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, so why aren't we focusing on that at all?
And this is a really, the freedom of speech issues are always tend to be the most interesting. Like you have like Larry Flint and the Hustler thing and the nudity and all that kind of shit. They tend to be, very, very interesting processes and judgments and things of that nature, because it's something that we always determine on our own. I mean, it's what sort of the whole, I mean, it's the first fucking amendment. I mean, it was first, I mean, it's like, it's quite important. And this one is terribly interesting. It really, really is. And we've been talking about this for a little while, and the suspension, and, I've been saying this. I think what he did that day was wrong. I think that he did things that was against the terms of service of private companies. But you have this argument of, is this private company? Is this public speech? You've brought up great points in saying, no, nobody's taking away his freedom of speech. They're just taking away his ability
one platform
to say it on this platform. He can still say it. He could email it out. He can, do all these things. And you're right. That's a good point. On the other hand, this social media is where this is how the world communicates now.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So it's like, it's a real tough thing. And I'm not surprised to see this thing go to a court. And I wouldn't be surprised if it goes all the way to the Supreme Court. But you brought up a really good point, and it's very true. And it's something that really not a lot of people are talking about, but is really important. Our country and our laws are light years behind where they need to be for things that are happening in technology and social media right now.
We're on the internet like 90% of the day, and yet none of it is being, not none of it, but a lot of it isn't being regulated or whatever.
It's very behind.
It doesn't make any sense. How is it? I mean, we're decades into it, and we have almost nothing.
Yeah.
Why? There should be a task force, for lack of a better term, in the government that's writing stuff that has to be approved. Just write that, write some laws. Maybe they're approved, maybe they're not, but send it to Congress, and let's see what we get.
And I mean, we've never faced anything like this, but you and I have a radio background. We've brushed up against television, newspapers, things of that nature. There's an FCC for a reason. Radio stations, TV stations have to have licenses. They have to go up for normal review.
Yeah.
There's things put in place to monitor and keep honest these companies so that they can't do certain things.
Yeah. Why can't we tack on a branch to the FCC or create a new thing that that regulates the internet? Just the way the TV is regulated.
There definitely needs to be something, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's breaking up Facebook, but I think oversight and some regulation and just some downright guidance.
Is it government ran?
It's got to be. There has to be something. Yeah. There has to be something. Facebook, social media, Google, they're all so huge. Like, I don't think people really quite understand Google's reach. Even like Amazon. Like, there's just a danger when companies get so massive. Amazon is doing incredible things that if any other company was doing, they would be, okay, for instance, Amazon, let me tell you one of the things that Amazon is doing. Amazon, and probably, I'm sure people have noticed this around their neighborhoods. Have you noticed Amazon trucks delivering packages around your neighborhood more in the last 6 months to a year than ever before?
Yeah, maybe.
2 years ago, did you ever see an Amazon delivery truck?
Of course it's more, sure.
Okay, so now there's these Amazon trucks. What Amazon is doing, they're delivering their own packages more because they want to get you the free delivery and they want to get it to you fast, and it's all great and well and good. But what they're doing is they're making deals with companies, and they're giving preferential listings on Amazon to people that pick them and their delivery service over, say, FedEx or UPS. Now, that's not really fair. They're using one thing that's got nothing to do with delivery to leverage to make more money in their delivery service. Because if you go on Amazon and you search for a comb, right? You can buy 5,000 combs. What determines those combs that are on the first page right up on top?
It's whatever you search for. It's your right. Is that what
most people
about?
think that, but what is in reality is it could be a sweetheart deal that they did with the comb business. True. That's not fair.
Big Comb has teamed up with Amazon.
Big Comb. And you got little comb places that are trying to make money that are not. And here's the other thing that they're doing. Amazon goes out and sees what the popular products are. Have you ever seen the Amazon products? Like you ever go to buy, like there's like Amazon Essentials or whatever. They're making their own shit and putting it under their own label. Now, this is not a new practice. Like if you go to, Stop and Shop, you'll see Stop and Shop soda next to Coke and Pepsi. Yeah. And odds are Coke and Pepsi are making that shit and just putting the Stop and Shop label on it, right?
Okay.
But it's in there amongst all the other products.
So let's say there's go ahead.
What Amazon is doing is Amazon watches products. So again, combs. They'll see, oh, this comb from this company is making a shit ton of money. Like it's getting the most hits, it's getting a lot of things and blah, 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 blah. They'll make the exact same comb. They'll put it for sale and they'll start listing it before the other comb that was performing well. And they're doing this with everything else.
Can't that original comb be like, you just stole my design and my idea and whatever?
But it's a fucking comb.
So every comb is, not every comb, but most combs are different.
But they're doing it with
the handle, the colors, the this or that.
Dude, they're doing it with combs. They're doing it with nail clippers, cameras, just all sorts of different various products.
So basically what you're saying is literally everything ever is going to be made by Amazon eventually. If we don't do something.
If we don't do something about it, it could very well be. And we're all sitting there going, I don't know, I got free shipping. And I got free shipping.
The free shipping is bogus too, by the way. I don't know if I said this. But paying for free, like if you pay for free shipping, like, you pay every month, whatever. I feel like you don't have to do that because even if you get the cheapest shipping option, which is $0, and they say, it'll be there in a week or so. But if you sign up and you get free shipping, it'll be there in like 2 days. I've done that where I've gotten something. I wasn't a part of Amazon. I got the free shipping option, which said, it'll be there in like 2 weeks. It came like 2-3 days later. They're still shipping them out fast.
Yeah, that can definitely
They're
happen.
not gonna, if you don't get the free shipping option every month, there's still shipping. It's still Amazon. It's still gonna get to you really quick. My experience could be different for every people.
No, it's true, but the problem is that you're getting all this other shit too. Now you're getting the video. Now you're getting the music.
Combs.
Combs. You're getting a lot more different stuff. I don't love things like this. I mean, look, we all could point at the car accident on the side of the road. We tend to not to, but this one just got out of control with its virality today, and a lot of people are talking about this young lady who was on the Good Liars. The Good Liars they're a very liberal leaning comedy troupe, and they go around and they talk why anybody talks to them about a Trump thing anymore is beyond me, because it's like openly going on like the
Daily Show and just getting they're gonna troll you.
Yeah, it's
but do they identify themselves as who they are? And
I mean, kind of.
They probably just walk up to you with a camera and a microphone.
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah, that's what they do. And I think this one goes back a couple of months, but it's sort of making the rounds again. What's the Impractical Jokers? It'd be like if you saw one of the guys from Impractical Jokers and they were talking crazy to you, and you're gonna be like, fuck
I'm on TV. This is stupid.
I'm on the show. So this young lady she was wearing a Trump Kennedy 2021 shirt, and they went over, and she is talking about famous Q theory that is rolling around.
Kennedy, what?
I think that JFK is still alive.
The guy who died in the crash, the 90s, he's still alive. And he's back in President with Trump this year. How is Trump being president this year? During the election?
A lot of things. There's some I know a lot of things are.
One thing you do know is John F. Kennedy Jr. is still alive?
That's what I believe.
Okay. Do you want to bet? Do you want to bet on it? I'll bet $100 that JFK Jr. doesn't come back from the dead. To do
but I don't think he's dead.
Okay. I'll bet $100 that he's not alive.
I
you bet 100?
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Sweet. Trump Kennedy.
So that was the.
Well, some people just. Has anyone in the history of anything ever, besides Lazarus in the Bible, has anyone ever been dead and come back and say, "Look, hey, I'm not dead"? That's never happened.
The biggest
Elvis.
one I can think of is John Travolta's career. That's really
comeback.
it.
That's true.
That was a comeback.
That was a comeback.
Yeah.
Big comeback.
He was pretty much dead and came way back.
You think? Would you say A-list? He's A-list now, right?
Totally super A-list, and was for from Pulp Fiction.
A long time.
For Pulp Fiction on for the next 10, 15 years, he was.
I don't know why. I mean, Look Who's Talking was great. Was that before or after his comeback?
That was before.
That should have been his comeback.
It's so funny too because you listen to Hollywood types and even Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino talks all the time about whenever they ask him about bringing back Travolta, he's always like, "Yeah, he was just doing those straight to video Look Who's Talking movies," and I'm like, that was a cinematic masterpiece for me.
What a dick!
Growing up, that's
a dick. That's a stupid thing to say.
But the whole industry says the same thing. He was doing those shitty Look Who's Talking movies, and I was I fucking love those movies.
Those are great. Look Who's Talking now is a little weird with the dogs, but other than that, it was good. I enjoyed it.
I recognize how shitty it is now, but I still love it.
Olympia Dukakis? Come on, she's never done anything shitty.
Yeah, and they were in the movie theaters. They weren't straight to video things, but they weren't. That's the thing with Hollywood.
Shitting on another director's movie too.
But that's what I'm saying. Hollywood, they have this thing where it's you're doing these type of movies or you're doing real cinema. You know what I mean? They've always had that air about it. Talking age movies are not considered classic. No shit, but they're guilty pleasure.
They're fun, and I'm sure they grossed a lot of money, and I'm sure they were good. They were good for what they were.
But there's truth to it because they only got Kirstie Alley and John Travolta because I'm sure their budget only allowed them to get those type of people. And
I think Kirstie Alley was big at the time. No,
I think she was bigger than Travolta, actually.
Yeah,
I think so. I think she was definitely the bigger
George
draw.
Segal, I think, was in it.
George Segal was in it. You're right.
Olympia Dukakis. Got some big names in there in the 80s.
Bruce Willis
90s,
did the
80s,
voice.
90s. Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
big time, man.
But they joke about it now like it was garbage.
That's crazy. It was I'm sorry, but for that time, no one was doing other movies like that. I don't think, unless I'm misremembering. But I enjoyed those movies. Look Who's Talking. Those are good.
Yeah. Anyway, there's something, and here's why I don't love bringing this up, but there's something about this woman in particular, and I'm seeing a lot of people like this, where it's just I believe this, and I know how crazy you might think I am, but I believe it, and I think it's real. And then you get other people that are I think it's real too, and then all of a sudden it's this thing, and you're what the?
there's no, like, I understand if you've seen something and you maybe, you have some kind of evidence and it's like making you think, but there's zero on this. I mean, did she say? She didn't say, "Oh, I believe he's alive because."
Right.
No. She said, "I just believe he's alive."
There was
Why?
stuff. There was stuff that they believe he's been seen at rallies.
Well, he has not a generic look, but he has a fairly not too distinct face. It's.
Here's the thing: as somebody who crafts comedy for a living, I mean, not on this episode, but
Where do you get the nerve to start a sentence like that?
if you were going to, I feel like the people that are coming up with these things are almost making fun of the people that wind up believing them. Like, if you were going to put together a scenario for the craziest person that would be the vice president for Donald Trump, not in 4 years, mind you, but this year, which is not possible, why would you pick a deceased person who was the son of perhaps one of the most popular Democratic presidents of all time? Like,
doesn't make any sense.
The barriers that you've put up in the way of this actually being a reality is absurd.
I don't understand where this it's
and
not
this
like
woman, I'm sorry, Frank, but this woman is sitting there in a fucking shirt that says it, and some fucking oversized Q-tip comes up to her with a camera and goes, "Can I talk to you for my stupid fucking internet show?" And she's like, "Oh, you can interview me. I'm happy to tell you what I fucking believe." Where's the embarrassment? That's what I want to know. How is this not fucking embarrassing?
I don't understand how we could all be looking at the same things, and we get so many. I mean, I get everybody thinks differently, but someone's dead, then they're dead. I mean, it's not. I've never seen a report where someone died and then 10, 15 years later, nope, they're still alive.
And wait, look. It looks like her daughter. Sorry, the light. It looks like her daughter. Is it like that? That's like her daughter, or maybe her friend? I don't even know. But she is proud to be saying this, and I would almost buy that she's trolling him, but she's kind of like wearing the fucking shirt.
I don't get.
Which makes me think that perhaps our shirts just aren't nutty enough to sell.
I think George Washington Jr. is going to be the running mate. Or maybe George Washington. It's just as plausible that George Washington himself is going to be dug up, and they're going to prop him up and they say this is his running mate.
I mean, it's
Trump Washington 2024.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Even? I mean, why him? Out of all the people, you'd think, like, there's no evidence of any of that.
None.
Like, all right, maybe if you don't believe that he crashed in the plane and you believe that he's still alive, what makes you think he's going to come back in the biggest reveal of all time to be like, yeah, I'm going to be a vice president?
It doesn't make any sense.
Why would you do that? If you faked your own death or someone faked his death, this is your comeback?
Yeah. And again, I can't tell who the asshole really is, because I say this all the time.
We're spending all this time on it.
People I know, friends, whatever. One of our friends follows somebody on social media who he absolutely cannot stand. And all he does is criticize every post that this person puts out and complains about it openly.
Is this me?
No.
Oh, okay.
And I said to him once, and I meant it, and it really struck a chord with him. He's like, this guy is such an asshole. And I said to him, I go, who's the asshole? Him or you for following his every fucking word and getting angry at it?
Literal Obi-Wan Kenobi line.
Yeah.
Who's the bigger fool? The fool or the fool who follows him?
Yeah. That Obi-Wan Kenobi had some fucking knowledge to him.
He knows what he's talking about. There's some T-shirts right there.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Jedi Master. He was the best, by the way. He's my favorite character in all of Star Wars. That's an aside.
Well,
back to you.
I'm glad you cleared that up, because I know everybody was wondering.
Everybody was thinking, well, what's Frank's favorite? He never says. There it is, Obi-Wan.
By the way, congratulations on not wearing a Christmas shirt today. I'm very proud of you.
Well, There are some Christmas scenes in Ghostbusters,
That's
but we
true.
won't get into that.
That's a great shirt. The president of Haiti, boy, he got whacked out today. That's
Assassinated gunman, right?
in
Entered his home.
In his home.
Yeah.
In his home.
R.I.P.
This is some
Unbelievable.
This is some you know.
When's the last assassination? They're rare, but this out of nowhere. I mean, what do we know?
Yeah.
What this person's problem with the with the president was?
Who's the journalist in the Middle East that got whacked out by the
Khashoggi.
Khashoggi. That would probably be an assassination.
Is that assassination or murder? Yeah. Is that assassination or is that murder?
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like assassination has to be someone in high power gets.
I think you could assassinate normal people. I think so.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe. Anyway, Jovenel Moise.
Okay.
Pincho.
I
don't know how you say this young man's name, and I apologize to his family.
Yes.
He was killed. His wife was injured. They were attacked in their home in the nation's capital of Port-au-Prince. An unidentified gunman stormed the property at 1 o'clock local time.
So they didn't even get him, unidentified.
Yeah, and the original reports earlier were that it was a group of people. Now they're saying a gunman.
So they don't even know who. They didn't get the guy. They don't even know who it was.
As of right now, they don't, or they do, and they're not releasing the information. Interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph is calling for calm and declared a state of emergency nationwide. Mr. Moise had led Haiti, one of the poorest nations in the world, since 2017, but had faced widespread protests demanding his resignation. The nation's recent history has been plagued by coups, political instability, and widespread gang violence. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson tweeted that he was saddened by the death of the Haitian president, calling it an abhorrent act and appealing for calm. U.S. President Joe Biden offered condolences to the people of Haiti for their horrific assassination. First Lady Maritime, that's when they told Joe Biden they assassinated the president of Haiti. He goes, me? Am I dead?
That's cute. That's cute. But he did tweet out, President Biden, we condemn this heinous act and we stand ready to assist as we continue to work for a safe and secure Haiti. Now how do you get into the president's home?
I heard he turned to Jill and said, they hate me and they assassinated me. I'm still the president, right?
Where's my glasses? I lost my big sunglasses. my Joe Biden glasses.
My Joe Biden stinks. I don't even chant.
Yeah, they're gone. I don't know.
I can't, yeah. I apologize to the people that my Joe Biden's not as great as my Donald Trump.
I feel like almost anyone could do a Donald Trump.
I know. I know. Frank's the impression guy on the show. Everybody knows that. Yeah, but you're right. I don't care if it's Haiti, if it's a poor country, like you said, blah, blah, blah. Still, you get into the president's home.
And out. You get in, he kills the president, and then he leaves.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's some insane shit.
I mean, I don't know what the security is like for the Haitian presidents, but this is not.
Well,
I mean, one guy gets in and out.
Yeah, that's what you got to think about. I mean, here's the sad truth about the Secret Service. The Secret Service was developed way too late all the time, right? I mean, they were always going back to Lincoln, Kennedy, right? We always had to kind of make adjustments when it was a smidge too late, and that's probably.
Well, they had Secret Service sort of, I think, in Lincoln's time, but they weren't.
Lincoln was pissed. He didn't want it. He would send them away.
Yeah.
He would be like, this is ridiculous. They
weren't on duty or something. He didn't. Yeah.
Oh, his guard in particular was drinking at the bar next door when he got.
That's
killed.
No good. That's no good. Yeah, you gotta up to see. That's. I mean, I'm glad that we're ready to help. That should never have happened. I wonder what, like, we don't know who did it, why they did it. I mean, there's unrest in Haiti, but
we know who did it.
Oh, here we go.
It's amazing to me, and it's trending like crazy. And I don't want people to think like I'm insane, but it is fucking trending.
It's trending because people are talking about it, but doesn't mean it's true.
You're right. It doesn't necessarily mean it's true. No, I can't find it. But the Clinton Foundation trending like crazy.
Yeah, because people are giant conspiracy nuts, and every death around the world is going to be, well, they had to be getting ready to release something.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, these Blintons, they get ahead of everything.
You're right.
Because nothing gets released.
Let's talk about that.
They're good at it.
It's Blintons. We don't want to get confused. But that is the rumor du jour that he was about to release a bunch of information.
You know, the more this stuff happens, the less Blinton, I think, is involved. Blintons are involved. Because it's like, all right, how many are they going to do? And they never get any information out. It's not like someone releases something and then they get, then, the Clintons did this.
Yeah.
And then they get whacked.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, again, so I did some quick research on this. I didn't have a ton of time to spend on it because, it's just not, it's happening literally right now.
You don't care. I get it.
Well, no, I mean, I care, but it's happening right now. And there was the Clinton Foundation gave a bunch of trailers to Haiti after one of was it the earthquake or the a storm? I don't know, whatever it was.
I'm sure they gave stuff to lots of countries.
Yeah, but it was like awful, and it was like structurally unsound, and they stunk like formaldehyde. It looked like a nightmare. It looked like a complete waste, and
it was basically the Fire Fest all over again.
It looked like that, and it looked like they were bringing in a lot of money for Haiti and putting a lot in their pot, like raising all this money, and then here's a formaldehyde-filled piece of crap trailer to that nobody's going to use. It looked like one of those situations. That was the only thing I could really find, and there may be more, and maybe it's all true, but again, right now, it doesn't really seem like there's much to this. That's not to say that can't change over the next couple of days. As I said, we found out he got whacked out this morning, but this tie-in to the Blintons just happened. So.
I don't understand. Like, I get everybody wants to blame someone, but, and I'm all, hey, if they did it, they did it, but I just don't see it. It's very obvious then. Like, they're the only game in town. They're the only people that would be doing this. There's nobody else on the planet that would want to take out some people.
Yeah, agree. I mean, our dissatisfaction with those two is pretty well documented on this podcast. We have no reason to defend them, but you're correct. It seems like we're going to this well.
I mean, no matter what happens, Blintons.
Yeah, if I stub a toe, I'm going to blame them too.
This movie lost the Oscar. Blintons.
And again, like there's plenty to blame. Like, let this whole Ghislaine Maxwell thing shake out. We were talking about that last episode on Trump, and he thought about pardoning them, and he asked if she mentioned him or if she was going to roll on anybody. And somebody brought up a really good point of what if he didn't? What if part of his thought on pardoning Ghislaine was if she was going to roll on the Clintons, not him. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he was asking, like, because basically, if he pardons her, it takes away her taking out the Clintons. Does that make sense?
Like, she'd have no reason to.
Yeah, she'd have no reason to speak because she's off scot-free.
I'm going to say, yeah, maybe, but I don't, and this is going to be my bias coming through, I don't think Trump is that smart. I think, honestly, I
disagree. I think he is.
I think he's going, is she going to roll on me? If she's not going to roll on me, then I think that's what he said. And then he ordered a Coke, and then he passed out on his empty desk.
A Diet Coke.
Diet Coke.
No, but I think we're talking on the same side of the fence. It is still ego. I'm
kidding around.
I just think that it's his ego wanting to nail the Clintons.
Could be. Could very well be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not discounting that, but who knows?
The Rogan versus the Spotify employee story is percolating back up again.
Thank God. We needed something to talk about.
Yeah. They're saying that Spotify staffers are complaining again, and it's saying that their complaints are falling on deaf ears. One insider reported on Tuesday that a Spotify employee wrote last fall on an internal networking channel on the app Fishbowl. You know how they have like You got Fishbowl and
like a company. It's like a company talking.
company messenger thing. Yeah. Says, quote, I'm personally bothered by his transphobic comments, and I'm concerned with the way he might spread misinformation. A former employee said that during his time at Spotify, the decision to sign a deal with Rogan was the most contentious one the company has ever made. However, another employee told The Insider that it's only a, quote, loud minority of people who are outraged, end quote, at Rogan.
Which counts. Minority is still a group of people.
No, minority meaning
Small, I mean.
small amount of people.
It's still a group of people. You know, it's not
Right.
like... So they still... Their opinion matters, and they should be heard. You know, it's not like, it's only 2 people, so screw them. No, those 2 people should be listened to. I mean, they have to... on the other side of it, they have to realize that Joe Rogan is not a news show. He's an opinion show, and I get that. It's like Sean Hannity's an opinion show. He's not a news show.
Yeah.
It's like any Anderson Cooper. Yeah, they present the news, but they also 90% of it is opinion.
It's all opinion these days.
It's all opinion. So yes, it's difficult because when your company is promoting and spearheading and backing someone who says something terrible about, I don't know what he said, but if he said something terrible about a group of people,
well, no,
then
you know
it's
what he's
like-
been saying? He's basically been talking about the trans community and, you know, this
sports thing.
the sports thing, yeah, and this idea, and there's this new thing that this person came out the other day. It was transracial. You know, this
I
guy.
heard, yeah.
He came out to, and he wants to look like one of the guys in BTS or something, and so he said he came out as transracial. He's really Korean. And I mean, you know, when I heard that, I was like, boy, you know, the what's it when you, what do they call that when you they always nab Trader Joe's for this, because like Trader Joe's will make like the Mexican taco shells, and they'll call it like, you know, whatever they call it, or, you know. Yeah,
I don't know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
What do you
I'm
call
on the
it?
train with you.
When you abuse somebody's race, like when you what's the word?
Oh, you mean not abuse, but
Not
you
abuse.
mean
You take it and you bastardize it. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, I think
Adapt,
everybody.
or you take on,
Yeah.
but like it's not your
it's not yours. and you're kind of
appropriation, cultural appropriation.
cultural appropriation.
Right.
I was like, boy, where's appropriation and now racial, transracial? I mean, this is a
It's a lot.
crazy
But
line.
I don't know. I mean,
And what I find interesting about it is, and you know me, I'm on the record. If somebody feels like they're another gender, I'm
Totally.
okay, I'm forward with that. I have no
All for it.
problem with that whatsoever. But it's funny to me that when you apply the same rules to race, I'm kind of like, wait a second, that doesn't really. I mean, again, I'm fine with it, but it seems like you would probably be pissing off a lot of people. That
yeah.
were,
I mean, if you want to, I mean, you're a citizen of that country. You want to live there. You want to, be a part of that community. Then I mean, why not? I feel
the
not that
same
I-
way, but if I came out and I was like, actually, guys, in my heart of hearts, I've always felt Chinese. I don't think one Chinese person would be happy with that. Be like, please, you're we got enough things we're dealing with. We don't need your bullshit, Aunt. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true. You're not the number one candidate.
Nobody
for
wants me on
recruitment.
there.
Yeah, the scouts aren't banging down your door.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think that gender is more than just what equipment you have.
Yeah.
So it's about who you are inside, who you are.
And you know what's fun? So you know what's interesting? Tim Dillon, who I'm a massive fan of. I don't even know, because I listen and watch his podcast. This might have been when he was talking with Joe. I don't know. This might have spurred this, but Tim Dillon is hilarious. Middle-aged white guy. He's gay, and talks about it. Doesn't make a huge deal out of it, but talks about it. He was talking about, and not in a negative way, not in a bad way, but he was talking about transgender people and how the fact that homosexuality has become such a non-important factor anymore. Like his generation, if you're 30 or if you're 40 or 50, like if you're older than 30, coming out of the closet was a momentous moment, in the life of someone who's gay.
I mean, it's still, for that person, it's still a huge moment.
Could be, but people don't really give a shit. And, part of you might argue, well, that's great. That's kind of the way it should be.
Should be, as being homosexual and being straight should be on the same level with each other. That's the way it,
But
where you wouldn't have to come out. You just are.
He said something that I found interesting. He's like, there's no lesbian bars anymore. And
what?
He was like talking to somebody, and he was like, the percentage of like lesbian bars has gone so far drastically down. I don't know. That's what he was saying. He was saying that he was telling the story too, that his friend who was a lesbian was trying to put on this lesbian festival. And, whatever it was, they go into the wood. This is literally what he said. They go into the woods and they have like a lesbian festival, and it's all lesbians who are into lesbians or this or that. And he said that she got a call by somebody who wanted to attend who was transgender. And this was sort of his whole point. And so, the girl was like, well, I appreciate that and I support you, but know that this is for lesbian women looking for lesbian women. And the person on the phone was like, well, I am a woman. I identify as a woman. And the person that was running the festival was like, and I appreciate that, but this is women who women who want women parts, in their women mouths, for lack of a better term, and don't want like
a weird way to put that.
They don't want a penis. Like, even
well, it could be a woman who does, trans woman who does not have it anymore.
Could be, but in this particular case, it wasn't. And this person like tried to get this whole thing started that they're anti-trans, and Tim Dillon's point is that lesbians, gays, they've lost their they tried to get this thing canceled, or get permits pulled and blah blah blah, all this stuff, and it was like they just want to be lesbians, and I found that interesting because, again, you and I feel like we're on the same side. We're not anti-trans people. But at the same time, you look at that and you go, well, boy, that's an interesting point. Although, again, even though it sounded like the girl was appreciative of the trans woman, it was like, this is what, this is, and this is our little pride thing, and we want to be doing this. And so I found that really interesting. And again, it's kind of like the technology and the government thing. I feel like this is all happening so fast, and we haven't really kind of caught up with how to act around it, or what's right and wrong, and blah, blah, blah.
It's going faster than we, as a society. A lot of people right there with it. Fine.
Yeah.
I like to think that I support everybody's, your
but don't you find that interesting?
But people don't know it.
Don't you find that interesting, as you want to support a transgender person, but in this particular case, you also can appreciate the lesbian who is kind of like, this is what we're,
this is not a trans event.
And especially this, because, they've spent so much time fighting for their own rights and trying to get their own equal rights in society. And now there's this other group that's just like pounding down the door on them, being like, you guys are, like, we have to get our thing. And it's weird, really kind of made me think about it all.
It's weird. I mean, you do what you want, but why would the trans woman want to attend an event where nobody would be interested? Like, no one is looking for her type of person.
Because I feel like in her mind,
okay.
if this is what she's into and she identifies as a woman, she feels like she should be there.
Yeah, she should. That's true. I just don't know what. Like, you're going to an event where the people there aren't interested in hooking up with a trans woman, right? That was the argument. So why would you want to be there anyway. I mean, you want to be where you want to be. I'm not going to question where you want to be.
No, because I think
But-
I think the answer you're going for it's the answer is you got to just create your own thing. That's kind of the way the
Create a
world
thing.
works.
I mean,
you know?
we're multiple. My thing is, we're multiple genders going on now. Should there be? Here's a question I've been rolling around with. Should there be, like, there's men's sports, there's women's sports. Should there be multiple gender sports?
like a
The trans woman sports, trans men sports.
right.
You know, since we have multiple genders and sports are divided by gender, there's men's sports and women's sports.
Yeah.
Should there be multiple?
You know, I think there's some sports where you really can, you know, and there'll be some sports that'll go in that direction. Like, here's one sport I never understood why it's split by gender: race car driving. Like,
Yeah,
why,
that's true.
why are there? You know, that shouldn't be a.
No, women.
You're in a car.
Yeah,
You know,
in a car.
all else is equal.
That's true.
Bowling. Bowling has been split by. Why is fucking bowling split by gender?
I don't know. There's a lot of that. I don't know why. Let's just either group them all together or divide them all up.
Yeah.
You know,
Now it's weird though, because like when you talk about like award ceremonies, again, and I've said this before,
actor and actress.
I understand the difference, but when you get rid of actor and actress, you're literally killing you're taking away 50% of the actors and actresses' chance of winning a fucking award. You're basically taking 50 awards in a night and turning it into 25, and now everybody has less of a chance.
It's more
to win an
coveted.
award.
It's more important. It's more valuable to be that best person, and it levels the playing field for men and women, for everyone. So if it's 5 male actors and 5 female actors going against going up for one prize, that one prize is going to be more coveted than, you know.
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't know. These are a lot of interesting questions, you know. And then you know, I've heard plenty of women say to me like, we just don't want, you know, when we take our little girl into the bathroom, we don't want to see a penis, and we have to explain that to a little girl.
Well, I don't know if you're seeing it. I mean, how.
Yeah, you know, but I understand.
There's certain rules you got to follow as a
Yeah.
society in the bathroom. Where you don't walk around with your penis out. You kind of have to hide. You know, you're not walking around with your pants around
Or
your
locker
ankles.
room, whatever whatever you want to say, you
Right.
know.
But like,
And I
if-
understand it, but at the same time, I also understand that somebody else wanting to, you know, this is
Well,
how they
maybe
feel.
maybe instead of dividing bathrooms by sex, we should divide them by age.
I
Here's
think
an
we should
18 and
worry
over
about.
bathroom, and here's
I
an
think we should worry
17 and
about
under.
cleaning them first. That's
Let's
my big
let's
fucking-
perfect that.
Let's get that down.
Yeah, we haven't crossed that milestone yet. Let's work on that. But yeah, why aren't we just 18 and over bathrooms, 17 and under bathrooms?
I don't know if that's the answer.
I don't know either.
I really don't know.
But 17 and under can go in with your parent. You can't have a person that's over 18 go in the bathroom alone.
Yeah, but I mean, I've said this before, and I don't think Joe is wrong for wondering out loud. You do have these men that transition into women, and then they enter a woman's sport, and they just clobber all the other women who have worked their asses off to get there.
It's a valid point.
And I think it's valid. It's not fair. And at the same time, that the trans woman can't fucking help who she is and has a dream to be whatever the fuck, a javelin thrower or whatever the fuck. And what is she supposed to do? You know, it's not.
That's just he has now. If the woman transitions into a man, now this man has to enter a men's competition, and is this man going to do as well as men who've been men and trained all their lives? I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. If as far as history goes, we've been dividing sports by gender, which I feel like we have.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're adding more genders, should there be more categories for sports? Like, if we have javelin, should there be a male javelin, female javelin, trans male javelin, trans female javelin?
I mean, certainly it's one of the solutions that should be put on the table, but then you're going to have people's reactions to that being, well, what is this fucking separate but equal, you know?
Well, it's been like that for men and women. Traditionally, it's been male sports and female sports.
No, but I mean, like, you know, like
This isn't race. This is
that. But that's what I'm
because
saying.
race doesn't matter in terms of who can be ahead of, you know, who could throw a javelin farther. Race has nothing to do with that. So, but this apparently your sex has something to do with who's better, you know, who's a faster runner, right?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that
generally.
That's the thing that trans people, I feel like, have to understand. There is a physical element to this sports conversation that really can't be ignored. You know, and again, even if you're somebody like me who feels like you should be treated, you should be as close to equal.
Yeah,
I want you to have everything possible,
100%.
everything you want.
Across the board.
That across the board. But that being said, there is this element to it that, you know.
But you know what though? We could be in the very early stages of this trans people being involved in men's and women's sports that 15 years from now it will make a difference.
And let me just say this too, by the way, because I don't want it. Also could be, you know, much to the chagrin of trans people, that it's not necessarily their fault. Meaning,
no, it's not.
You know how they say, like, one person in the class ruins it for the entire class. Like, it could just be some fucking asshole. You know, it could be not a true, genuinely trans person. It could just be some asshole that walks up there going, "No, I identify as a woman," just to be a dick about it. And, you know, and that how are you going to prove
that? I feel like you got to be a real sociopathic.
You got to be
do that.
We just watched a woman say that JFK Jr. is going to be the vice president this year.
Yeah, no, I get that. No, there are some nuts out there.
Believe me, there's somebody out there that as soon as this okay comes across the board, they're going to be like, well, fuck it, I want to win a gold medal.
I understand. However, you also have to be, in terms of the Olympics and whatever, you have to also be committed in training. Like, it's not just a whim. Like, I'm not just going to go, I'm a woman and I'm going to go win the Olympics. I'm going to lose.
Are you saying there's training for bobsledding?
There's training for Yes, watch Cool Runnings. There's definitely training for.
Let me do my training right now. Hold on.
You lose. Yeah, you don't know when to do that. You got to jump in that sled. You got to know. You got to pull the rope thingies. You got to have John Candy as your coach. You can't. You don't have John Candy coaching you.
Sanka, you dead man. Yeah, man.
No, man, I'm not dead.
Federal.
I think,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying. The last thing. I think in 15, 20 years, hopefully, it won't matter because trans people will be more ingrained in our and normalized, hopefully, in our society. That we'll all be on this level playing field for every sport.
Well, I think I think the more important thing is, you know, medical rights, you know, spousal right. I think things when you look back at the gay community, all the things that they've had to fight for, you know, I think those things are more important to get to those things first for them.
Well, absolutely, but this is not that. This is the same. This is trans rights are different from gay, and you know, it's all everybody has their own thing going on. This is something totally different, but this, you know, there's sexual preference and how you're treated, and then there's I'm not a man, I'm a woman. That's a totally different ballgame.
It's interesting shit, and I wish we had a more concrete take on it because I mean we'd be bigger assholes, but we'd get more clicks. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, we don't know what we're talking about for the most part. We just want equal rights for everyone. That's all. Capital Lego set. What?
Federal investigators seized an unusual piece of evidence from a Pennsylvania man indicted last month for his role in the Capitol riot. A Lego replica of the building he allegedly stormed. Robert Morse, 27, is accused of leading fellow rioters in what prosecutors say was, quote, one of the most intense and prolonged clashes with officers on January 6th. According to court documents obtained by Smoking Gun, FBI investigators seized an array of firearms from his home, as well as what the court filings describe as a, quote, fully constructed U.S. Capitol Lego set.
Now,
I find it interesting.
How accurate could that Lego set be?
I don't know.
I don't think it's to scale. The Lego people are about the size of the, you know, are pretty big in those things.
But you look at every like bad,
You think Pelosi's office is in that Lego set? Probably not.
no, probably not. But
Probably
I'm
just
just
generic little offices.
But if you look at every like bad movie, they're always like, or like it's like in a shoebox, and they like are playing around with
I
like.
think you should be the M&M.
We are always going back to.
Gotta go back
Seinfeld.
to Seinfeld. Which, by the way, you are wearing an M&M-like shirt.
I surely am. I truly, truly am. I can't wear this shirt with beige pants anymore without somebody calling me the fucking State Farm guy.
Or Staples.
Yeah.
Oh, that's old school, though.
There it is.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty there. I don't know if this was the exact one, but
$270. That's intricate.
Pricey. Yeah.
I wonder what it looks like on the inside. Like that. Oh, I was gonna say that's a sofa from inside the. I wonder if it looks like anything from the inside, or if it's just.
Who took this fucking picture? This is what I want to know. We're looking, for those listening, we're looking at a picture. The U.S. Capitol is laying on its side on the floor next to white roses and a fucking gray gift box.
What the fuck? In case you wanted to know the size of it compared to a dozen white roses and a gift box. What the hell? Good point.
Who was the fucking photographer that day?
That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. What are the other pictures?
I got an idea. Go out and get me a dozen roses. That's really it.
Is there an inside? That's fine. But is there an inside to the thing? Like, I want to see if there's, like, if they show the chambers.
No.
And if they show, like, the hallways, or if it's just Lego structure.
No, I think this is basically it.
All right. So it's the outside.
Yeah. So.
And you did you need that to know what you do? Like, Google Maps could probably help you better than this thing will.
But I find it interesting that most of these people that stormed the Capitol that day were living with their parents in the basement, fucking zeros. Like, they're the people that had
no job, probably.
No jobs, I'm generalizing here, but I'm really pretty close for the most part of most
assholes.
of the people.
I'll generalize too. Assholes.
I mean, there's some sort of link there to if you fucking lived at home with mom, and you are caught, because it's like you get a life. You've got, some people are a little too into all of this stuff, like a little too much.
Agreed. You know what it is too? It's that cult mentality. I'm not saying don't go cult. No, I'm saying is they're looking for something to be a part of. This sort of aligns with their beliefs, so they go all in on it.
Everybody's looking to be a part of something, whether you're a Giants, you're tailgating at a football game, or you follow a hockey team, or you love movies, right? Everybody's got their Facebook groups that they're in.
This happens to be just a harmful one to be a part of.
Yeah, and believe me, there's unhealthy people that follow sports teams, yeah.
This way.
Yeah.
It's hard to go. I don't know which way I'm pointing here.
I was literally ready to empty out my kids' college fund for Islander tickets if they were to make the Stanley Cup final. That's true. I've lost
Who
a couple.
won that thing? Do we know?
I've lost a couple of college funds to Atlantic City by now.
We gotta go back to it. We should do a show from Atlantic City.
Oh, we really should.
I haven't been there in years. We gotta go there again.
Yeah, we should.
Just saying.
That would be great to do that.
I think they can give us, like, hey, we're Anthony on air. Can you give us, like, a...
I had a hookup. I got to go back and look and find it. I had a hookup at, where did I go?
Results?
Might have been the Borgata.
Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe they could hook us up with a place and say, hey, Anthony on air staying here. They're doing a show from here. Thousands of people will see this from, we're promoting the Borgata. Dozens of people are waiting for the show to start.
What is that from?
The League of Their Own. Come on, guys. Dozens of people are waiting for the game to start. Fucking Tom Hanks. You gotta love Tom Hanks.
Fucking best. I mean, he eats children, but besides that, what a hell of an actor.
I mean, the birds.
All right, that's all I got, my man. You got anything else?
I think the basic takeaway from this show is equal rights for everyone. Capitol people, the rioters, your assholes. What else?
I think the basic takeaway is equal rights for everyone, except if you live in your mom's basement and you're above the age of, what's a comfortable number to put here?
I think if you live in your mom's house, until you move out, you should be treated like an 18 or like a child, 18 or under. You're not 18 yet until you move out. Then you jumped. Like if I'm 25 years old and I'm still living with my mom, I'm 18. And then once I move out, I jump to 25.
You jumped to 25.
Yeah, you skip over the others.
Do you remember those? I miss those days when you got a real job. Like when you were living at home and you got that first real job, and suddenly you were making like real adult money, but you had no other adult responsibilities to go along with it.
It's a small window, but it's there and it's beautiful.
It's the fucking best time ever.
You just start stockpiling a little bit. You buy some weird, crazy shit. You know how much stupid shit I bought because I had no adult responsibilities, but I had income.
Exactly.
I bought
a capital Lego set.
Not one, but 2 violins. I still have one of them downstairs. One acoustic and one electric.
I will admit this on this show, and I really shouldn't. I should say this, but you want to know what a purchase I made that was the stupidest purchase, and I still have it? Okay. I bought a replica wrestling championship belt. This was, and I'm sure there's tons of people.
How old were you?
I was way older than I should be.
Late 20s.
If you're
early
like,
20s?
Yeah.
Early 20s.
Yeah, because it was like $400.
Hey, listen. Oh, well.
It was like it's like a real.
All right, my violins were like $70. Let's not go crazy.
I grew up like I love wrestling as a kid. Like I feel like every like 9-year-old.
I loved wrestling.
Loved wrestling.
Absolutely.
And I was making money, and they were starting to sell these things, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna buy this thing.
Like I could really use that.
Yeah, I'm like, and I was way too old to be jumping around on the couch and all that shit. But I was like, fuck it, I've earned it, so I'm gonna buy this thing.
Sometimes it's just a fuck it purchase, man. You're like, I see something. The thing is, you're allowed to like shit.
Yeah.
If you like something, fucking go for it, man. Who the hell?
You know what's weird? I still like wrestling belt. Like I like sometimes like videos will pop up on YouTube, and it's like, we look at this wrestling belt and all the intricate detail, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna watch that, and I'll watch it. It's the stupidest shit ever.
See, my opinion, I couldn't care less about wrestling belts. I loved wrestling when I was a kid, but to each their own, man. That's great. Love it.
No, it's fucking stupid.
No, if that's your thing, that's what you're into. It doesn't hurt anybody. Go for it.
It literally. I hate this because I know you're making fun of me.
I'm really not. 100% not.
It sat in the corner after I got it. It was in my room for years. I moved and just threw it in the attic. And then literally when my parents sold their house and they were like, come pick up your shit, it was one of a million other things that I just took from their attic and put into my attic, and it's still fucking sitting up there somewhere.
Do you know how many Star Wars toys I have? That my brother and I collected over the years. We have a lot. I mean, everybody has their thing. Wrestling is your thing. That's fun.
And I bought you know how many hockey jerseys I bought? I have
that's
probably
at least functional.
30 or 40 hockey jerseys.
At least it's clothing. You could wear them to game.
I did wear it at one time, but now I got 2 kids. I had a mortgage. You think I should be fucking walking around? Unless I'm going to a game, and even then, it's a little bit of a stretch for somebody my age at this point.
Really? Hockey jerseys are not a good adult thing to wear?
I just don't know. I feel like, you know what? If you have a child with you, okay. If you're going with your buddies... Like if I go, Frank, we got tickets to the game. You want to go? And I fucking show up with a fucking hockey jersey on. Aren't you not gonna give me shit?
I feel like
clothes.
I feel like I've seen you in hockey jerseys more than I've seen you in anything else.
That's true.
But you know what's weird? I feel like hockey jerseys are like the only jersey people wear, like that, not to a hockey event. Like I never see someone walking down the street in a baseball jersey. Maybe basketball. Basketball people wear basketball jerseys a lot.
Yeah, basketball.
Not to a basketball thing. That's probably number 1. Number 2, I think, is hockey. And then after that, nobody wears. I mean, maybe football, but I don't see people wearing football jerseys.
Girls are big with football jerseys, and they get a pass because, again, girls are beautiful and men are just.
That's true. I mean, we're wearing it because it's a step away from not having a shirt on. That's the only reason we're wearing it. Nobody walks around in a baseball jersey, which is weird. I feel like that should be.
But do you wish? Let me ask you a question. I know those Star Wars figures brought you joy, and the hockey jerseys brought me joy too. but do you wish, like, that joy is so fleeting and is such a distant memory. It was joyful at the time, right? Now, not so much. Do you wish you would have just saved that money?
No,
Like, because when I
at
think
the
about
time, it was great.
all the useless purchases and the fact that none of it really matters to me anymore, and there's so many new things that matter. You got your wife, you got your dog, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so
Sure.
many new things that matter to you now. Don't you wish you still had some of that money socked away in the bank that you could use to go on a trip now?
Of course, you wish you had more money stocked away, but I don't regret buying those things in my childhood and my young adult years. I enjoyed all that. I was my brother and I. We went to conventions and we would look at all this stuff, and it was a lot of fun. And we had other people that like my uncle would collect the same stuff, and we would compare what we had. We watched the movies. It was. I would not trade that. That was fun. And if we didn't have that, what would I do? Sit there, do nothing.
You're talking about experiences, though, with other people. That's different. I'm talking about...
Well, it's all connected. I wouldn't,
I guess so.
Buying the figures and whatever is part of the experience. Like when you bought... Or you just bought it online, or the belt, or did you go somewhere and buy it?
You know what? I think I bought it online because I'd be far too embarrassed to walk into a store and look in somebody's eyes while I make that purchase.
All right, but when you got it, weren't you like, oh, this is awesome, you hung it up or whatever you did with it, you rolled around with it naked. I don't know what you do with these things. But, weren't you happy when you got it? It made you happy a little bit? Didn't make you happy? What the hell's the matter with you?
For
Why'd you
moments.
buy it?
For moments, it didn't last. Although I will say, I found a company that makes championship belts like now, and I was gonna
customize it.
I was gonna get one. Yeah, I had this idea to get one, and
for what? Just to have,
to be like radio champion. I think was my idea.
See, no, that's lame, but it's fine. That's you, man. That's your thing.
My idea was I was gonna go around to other radio stations and like trash talk at their events and hold up the belt like a wrestling thing.
It's kind of funny.
Isn't that kind of hysterical? And then I was like, out of all my radio friends, I was like, I don't know if anybody would go along and understand that this would be a hilarious bit for all listeners to like take part in. But it's hard to sell. Like you and I could do that. You know what I'm saying? It's it's the companies and the fucking, all the people.
If you show up at blah, blah, blah Honda, they're probably going to be pissed at you.
Right. But how funny would that be? And think about the press that you could get.
That's true. And plus, blah, blah, blah Honda, it's a little extra,
It's a little extra juice for them.
Yeah.
And how funny would it be if, like, you show up and you trash talk the other radio station, and then the next time you have an appearance, they come up and hit you with a chair and take your belt.
It's great.
I mean, that would have been so much fun.
See, I always thought radio stations should have worked together way more than they do.
They never. They
don't see the big picture. It's all about we're one radio station. We got to fight everybody. But if you came together with if every radio station, let's say on Long Island, for example, became the radio giant. Yes, we're all owned by different things, different companies. But if we teamed up and became the radio network, and it was, you're owned by this, you're owned by that, but we kind of helped each other out, I think it would be...
Dude, if you saw a rival radio station, the DJ screaming at another DJ holding up a fake wrestling belt.
Yeah, but after a while, I think after that...
I'm just saying, you don't think that would have made the news, the local news, and gotten written up and everything?
But then I think that's good for a one-shot deal, because then after that, it's like, oh, here they go doing their thing. You have to come up with a new idea after that.
I was thinking about this the other day in the shower. The last great prank was Jimmy Kimmel. Remember when he had that girl who twerked up against the wall and she fell and the fire started?
Yes.
And that clip went super viral, and then 3 weeks later, he showed the full clip where he walks in and puts it out. What's
interesting about that is that you were thinking of this girl twerking while you were in the shower. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, that's fine. It's probably about,
You're making a real habit out of getting the last great line of the show, and then it's starting to annoy me.
I don't have to tell you. Stop setting me up like that.
All right. Well, anything else? You got anything else?
I'm good.
All right. We got to leave it there. Appreciate you guys. We missed J-Subs too on this episode.
Yep.
Hopefully she'll be back for Friday. Friday we're supposed to get this Elsa hurricane. I'm starting to get. Did you get a text? I got a text.
I got a text. Yeah, it wasn't even a text. It was some weird alert that I've never seen. It's just Elsa's on the. It wasn't a text. I don't even know what it was. It was just some warning.
Yeah.
From the Weather Channel or whatever weather thing is on my phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, Elsa, not great. Do we know where it is at the moment? I didn't even read fully the thing. My wife got the same thing, and
yeah, Florida. It's in Florida right now.
It's in Florida right now. Your parents all right?
Yeah.
It's good.
If they are, great. If they're not, inheritance, baby. So also great. You know what I'm saying? 6 in one, half a dozen in the other.
I hear you. You heartless bastard.
Wish I was a better person.
Yeah,
Think of all the wrestling belts I'll be able to buy when they finally go.
Cha-ching. I need at least one more violin.
I got to make a phone call now because my father watches this show. I'll be like, it's just a bit. I didn't mean any of it.
No, I already have enough wrestling belts. But do you ever have enough? I think you could use some more. We need you to get another wrestling belt.
Somebody asked me, what if you had millions of dollars, what would you buy? What would you be buying? Like, what's your dream thing to collect that you don't have right now?
As a collection or as just something you want?
Not a one-time thing. Like, no, you walk into a room and it's just, you've got 50 of them all over the room. Is it art? Is it violins? Like, you know, what's
probably
your
not violins, but I'd say guitars would be awesome. I would love a collection of guitars. That would probably be my number one thing. But if I had like a one-time shot, like something I've always wanted, someone gave me millions of dollars, go buy whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, I think we talked about this on a show a couple of shows ago. Like, one room in your house, what would that room be?
Right.
You know, like, and I want to amend my answer to a recording studio with all the instruments that I would need. Drum set.
A full-on,
guitars,
like
full-on
musical recording studio.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what a piano, if I can.
Did we talk about this already?
We did. You said something like a pool. A whole level of your house would be a pool.
Oh no, yeah, well that's different. But we're talking. I'm talking about collecting. I'm talking about if you
collecting. I would say guitars.
Yeah, I would do vintage microphones. I fucking love old school vintage microphones.
I like them too, but not enough to collect a million.
Not enough to collect them. Yeah, like I would love like this shit that like Sinatra used to like record into. Like,
those. Those handheld. Yeah. Really good.
Oh my God, yeah. All right, we'll leave it there. Way over the time. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Don't forget to grab a shirt at chopanthonyonair.com. We got that new J-Sabs long pumps only shirt. I love the look of that. I love the whole saying long pumps only. Just it's
a good one.
It's very J-Sabs.
It's a good lesson for life. Long pumps only. That's the newest shirt. Go search the women's apparel line or the men's apparel line. Go all the way to the end because it's a new one. And anything that you could purchase, we appreciate. It certainly goes a long way. We will catch you guys on the next one. AnthonyOnAir.com has all our links and info. Imagine a whole room of wrestling belts. Would you still be my friend? That's the dream. I'm questioning it now, before the wrestling belts.
Sneaking in one last line before we officially end the show. Cannot stand you.
Stop setting me up. I didn't have to. You continued.